Hey everyone, my name is Georgie from Beards and Board Games. Today we're back with another live chat, but this time it's with Tyler, the bearded Meeple. Hello, Tyler.
Good day, interwebs.
How are you this, well, I was going to say this afternoon, but I guess it's this morning with you.
Yes, it is. Nice, chilly Canadian late fall, early winter morning. They actually said the other day that Vancouver has gone a year without snow, so that's quite the thing for Canada.
Okay. Sorry, I don't know if you heard that. I was just checking if the sound was working on the video there, and again, it blew up. It went really loud on my side, so I missed what you said. Sorry, can you say that again, Tyler?
I was just saying that it's nice and cold here, typical Canadian morning, but they just said that they've had 1 year without snow in Vancouver now. So that's quite the thing for Canada. I don't know if all the global warming conspiracy theorists will jump on that, but it means something.
Oh, well, so essentially if it starts snowing now, then they've jinxed it, so
yeah,
it's probably going to happen.
Exactly.
It's the same here, I would say, in Scotland. It's freezing, really, really cold. The wind is not letting off at all, so it's that icy cold wind, and because it's coming straight off the coast, it's crazy cold. So everyone's kind of inside wrapped up warm, and if they're not inside wrapping up warm, they're outside battling over I guess Christmas stuff. So I think there's that holiday happening soon, right? So
yeah, well, I put a thing on Twitter the other day. I said there's 2 countdowns this month: Star Wars and Christmas. I'm excited for one of them.
I wonder which one, right?
Exactly. My 3 Star Wars tattoos should say that it's a given, but
wow, you have 3 Star Wars tattoos. That is dedication.
Yeah, I have a Lego Han and Chewie, and then I have a Boba Fett one. I have my left leg all done in my daughter's artwork, actually, that she's done over the years. So just something that I thought would be different to do.
Definitely, man. That's really interesting. Well,
I do want to get a board game tattoo, though. I just need to work on the design.
Okay. Do you have any ideas? Like, you gonna have like dice, or is it gonna be something to do with your channel, or like?
I'm working on a new logo to launch on my 1-year anniversary in January 19th. It's probably going to be a traditional Meeple with the beard and the glasses. And then I was thinking like some dice, and then just like a regular game pawn. I have tattoos on me, so it's just finding the right place and seeing where it'll go. But yeah, definitely I think that'll be my New Year's resolution, is board game tattoo.
Yeah, awesome. Well, I guess right before we actually go into this, have you pre-booked? Do you have to pre-book tickets for Star Wars at your side?
My friend Chris bought them like literally 2 minutes when they went online. It was like click, 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 click. So yeah, we have some theaters here where you can get reserve seating. Other theaters aren't. So we have had reserve tickets for weeks now, and I haven't told my work yet, but I will not be coming in that night.
I think this is where my problems lie. I have yet to pre-book tickets for my local cinema, and there is still tickets left. However, nobody will swap shifts with me at work. It's screening twice that day, once at 1 p.m. and another at 7 p.m. and I'm working 1 till 9. So
yeah, there will be theaters in North America that will probably be showing it 24/7, and it will make tons of money, and it better be good.
I feel the same. Anyway, before I think we get too hyped up and too deep into the Force Awakens talk, because I think probably judging by this, we could go on about it for a while, to be honest, Tyler. But I guess welcome first of all to the live chat, Tyler. Thanks again for coming on.
No problem. It's my pleasure.
Do you want to tell everyone, I guess, what you do? I guess you've just told everyone you're coming up to your 1-year anniversary, and I mean, I've been watching your channel, and I've been watching Meeple Syrup for a while as well. So I've kind of known about you, and I've seen how heavily you pump out videos. It's quite insane, really, for only being sort of, under a year.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. If I could turn this into a job per se with some real sort of income, because my wife doesn't work, If I could support us with that, I would do it because it does take a lot of work. I used to work for Kellogg's Canada, making cereal for the big corporate giant. Lost my job, was looking for something to do. I have a couple friends that host the Meeple Syrup Show, Gerald Andrews and Sen Fung Lim. And I was just thinking one day, it's like, you know what? There's lots of people that do this. There's some people that do it really, really awesome, and some people that are just like, wow, this is what they do, and they have thousands and thousands of subscribers and hundreds of thousands of views. I'm like, I can do that. I can do it better than them, but I'm not going to be this good. If I'm somewhere in the middle, I'd be okay with that. Yeah. So I will admit, probably my first 20 were just like, because I had no idea what I was doing. It was just like, you know what? I want to tell people about some games. Then people were giving me input and feedback, and here, use this lighting, or do this, do that. But the reason I do it is because I love board games. Stronghold, Queen, Asmodee, they don't need my help. But there are literally like 200-300 small companies that 20% of the games will get 80% of the market. And all those other little games, they're actually fun, great little games. They're not going to be the next Catan. They're not going to be the next Ticket to Ride. But it doesn't mean they don't deserve as much attention as anyone else. So I think I kind of found my niche with the quick, to-the-point overviews. Because people are like, oh, you don't do reviews. Well, no, I show people how to play a game quickly. I'll say a couple things I maybe don't like or like about it, or compare it to something else so they can understand it. And then it's just, hey, you know what? This is a thing that you can check out. If you like it, that's fine. Is it really my place to tell you, hey, this game sucks? Well, there might be 600 people that really, really like it. Am I there to say, yeah, you're an idiot for liking that? No, that's your opinion. If you want to play and enjoy that game, that's fine. I maybe didn't like it, but you know what? Go ahead and play it. It can be a lot of fun for that type of person. So over time, as I kept cracking out the videos, I just realized that, you know what, if I can get this niche for being the guy for quick, to-the-point overviews, that I will get my own brand and my own market. And you know, I love watching Rahdo Runs Through, and I love the Dice Tower, and I love drive-through reviews, but I'm not those guys. I don't want to be those guys. I want to be me. And it just exploded, and it's doing well, and I just really, really enjoyed it.
Awesome. I mean, like in 1 year, you've come, I would say you've come pretty far in regards to like the shows that you're involved in. You know, like I said, the just sheer number of reviews and things that you have been, you know, that you've been coming out with. I guess another question would be, so with the amount of reviews and things that you're doing, how much time a week would you say that you're spending on filming reviews?
For me to do a standard 4-5 minute video, from the time I first sit down and turn the camera on to the time I upload it to Facebook and Board Game Geek, it probably takes me about 2.5 hours.
Okay. For
one video, just because I want it to look as professional as I can get it. I want it to be fine-tuned. I don't want to be stumbling over my words and umming and on or mispronouncing, because you'll be like, hey, I'm here to talk to you about Draconis, but sometimes the inflection will sound funny. It's like, oh, I got to redo that. Or the cat will run in the room, or my daughter will be like, Dad, can I have a snack? It's just like, So yeah, sometimes with like on my channel, I have 3 different types of reviews. I do the modern games, classic games, and family first, which are games for younger kids like 4, 5, 6-year-olds. The classic games, they're generally really easy. I can crack one of those off in like half an hour, because usually it's just making fun of the game because they were so bad back then. But yeah, on average, I'm probably putting in like 30 hours a week into this sometimes. And as I said, if I can get big enough one day and say, hey, I want to do a Kickstarter, I want to raise $35,000, so this can be my job, and I can go to the conventions, and I can just keep pumping out video after video, because mass market wise, there's millions of people that aren't into board games. The board game community, yeah, you know, it might be like 200,000 people strong in certain areas. Well, what about those other 30 million people that we still need to reach? I'm fine doing videos for them too. So
awesome, man. So are you like you were saying, people were giving you like lots of I guess advice in the start, like use this type of lighting, use this camera, and do you find that you still get that type of?
Oh yeah, I definitely get feedback. I've had some haters too. I actually had to block 2 people from my channel. One guy was simply because of vulgarity, and I'm just like, look, it's a family thing.
Yeah,
I don't need that. And I gave him a couple warnings. I said, all right, you're done. And another person, I did a video, and he did not like the game, and he trashed me, and that is fine. But you know what? As I just said, this game was some person's dream. You know what? You don't need to stomp on them. And yes, there's idiots out there, and that's fine. But you know, say levy, they're going to be out there. But as far as feedback, when I first started in London, Ontario, there's a gentleman named Chris McInnes who owns a shop called Uber Cool Stuff, and he was one of my big supporters, saying, "Oh, hey, you know, do this or try this," because people were like, "Yeah, you know, you do great stuff," and I'm like, I have no idea what I'm doing. I just turn the camera on and I talk, and I just try to do it as best as possible. So people be like, "Oh, well, you know, I don't want to tell you what to do." I'm like, tell me, because I don't know what I'm doing. So, and it's slowly grown over time. And as you can go back and watch my first videos, you'll slowly see them progress, and you know, the lighting will get better, and just the setup's more polished. And the way you can tell that it's progressing is the beard gets longer.
And that was actually one of the main reasons I wanted you on the show, to be honest, was just your luxurious mane, you know. So it's just
Well, I had an interview probably about a month ago with a food processing plant, and they wear beard nets, but I probably cut about 4 inches off my beard, just because I didn't want to go in there like, oh yeah, I'm going to be making food and handling people's stuff and have this big monster looking at them. So if I should be hearing this week if I get the job, which would be nice, because if I do, I'm just going to let it grow again.
Nice. So I guess, Tyler, for everyone watching, do you have any plans for your channel, or do you just plan to, like, right now, is it just review as many games as you possibly can? You know, like obviously we've got your couple of different types of reviews that you do, be it family and kids and things like that. Do you have anything planned, as in, like, the live chats that I'm doing right now? Do you plan on? I mean, obviously you're on Meeple Syrup as well, right?
Yep. I've known Daryl and Sen probably for about 1.5 years now, and their third host, Dylan, moved to Paris, and they had some guests hosts on from time to time, and they approached me and they said, "Hey, you know what? We're game designers. We get people sending us games. We don't have a review person per se, so how would you like to jump on board and become part of the team?" And I was like, yes, that would be awesome. So I've been doing that, like I said, for about a month. I won't be on it all the time, but there as much as I can. But with my 1-year anniversary coming up on January 19th, I'm looking to launch my new logo. I do want to get into a video log or vlog or whatever the kids are calling it nowadays. But I'm going to kind of model it after, there's a Canadian comedian has a show, the Rick Mercer Report. It's like a fake news thing. It's quite huge in Canada. And he has this rant that he does. So I'm going to try to style it after it, because yes, a lot of people are, you know, sitting right in front of their computer and they're just, oh, hey, I'm going to talk about this stuff. And yeah, that's cool, but there's enough people doing that. So I have a couple ideas that I have in mind. Everything I've tried to do, I always just try to be a little bit different. I took marketing in college. I worked in radio advertising for a while. And I'm not saying anything against people and how they do stuff. It's just that I have tried to be different on purpose. There's a ton of guys. Yeah, I've got a wall of board games in behind me when I talk. That's fine. Okay, there's 100 people that do that, so I don't want to. There's a lot of guys that'll do 25, 30-minute reviews. I'm not going to do that. I got to keep it 5 minutes. People are short attention spans. I just want to go through something quick. I needed a logo. I needed music, because some guys they turn the camera on. Yeah, here, I'm doing this, blah, blah, blah. So every little thing I've tried to do, I try to make it different enough so, again, it'll stand out. So new logo in the new year. I'm going to try to do the video logs. I have had a lot of people say, oh, you need to get into heavier games. And I want to, but I also want to keep the time down. So even if it's a matter of not explaining all the rules or just talking about certain aspects of the game, just because if I get into too much stuff, I'm just going to be like everyone else then. So I do have things planned. If it keeps steamrolling the way it has, it'll just keep growing, and I really enjoy it. But like I said, between work and kid and home life, it's like, yeah, it's hard to get a balance. So if I could make this a job, then I could focus all my attention on it and just do it.
Yeah, man. I mean, as far as like you were saying, like big wall of games behind you, that certainly seems to be like the common review factor. And to be honest, when I first started reviewing, the first thing that somebody said to me was, why don't you have a big wall of games behind you? Like, literally, that was one of the first things that somebody said to me, and I just said, well, I didn't realize that was like a necessity for your like channel. I thought like the idea of the camera being portable was that you could literally take it anywhere. So, but I mean, that was fine. So now, I kind of do the standard like film with your game shelves behind you, but I guess I got like a gigantic shelf when I first started sort of collecting the bigger games, and I've just sort of everyone's seen my shelf grow as the channel grows as well, I guess. So that's just that's kind of been one of my
things. I'm not knocking it. If people want to do that, that's fine. It's just I can't do that because I want to be different. And yes, there will be like 30 guys that don't have it, and I'm not in no way am I inventing the wheel. Everything I've done, I'm sure someone has done before, but I'm hopefully doing it in a way that people will be like, oh, hey, his personality seems fun. He's kind of funny. He does different games that, yeah, everyone's got a video for, I don't know, whatever the big hotness is right now. And I will do the hot games because you need those numbers. But I'm also going to do, I picked up a game yesterday called Flip Hue, I believe it's called, just a small, tiny company. And the whole premise of the game is you're collecting sets of cards, but they're double-sided, kind of like Flip City. So as I collect color sets, you can see what the back is. So then you're like, oh, I need that card, but I need your card of that. So it's got a neat little twist on it. But again, small company, I'm sure no one's heard of them, but that's why I need to do a video for them.
Yeah, man. And like you said, it's been serving you well so far. So like, why fix that's sorry, what's the phrase I'm looking for? Why fix this something that's not broken, right? Or something? Yeah, it's not broken. Don't fix it.
Yeah, there you go. If it's don't fix broke, whatever.
That's kind of how I feel. It's not even that early for me here as well, but I guess late at night and all that. Never mind. So moving on, I guess. Anything you've been playing recently, Tyler?
Well, I just picked up 2 Christmas gifts for myself yesterday. That generally I buy my own presents and just
Merry Christmas to you.
Tell my wife, say, here, wrap these. Tell her daughter you pick them up for us. So in the summer, I played Letters from Whitechapel, which is a rework of Scotland Yard. I loved it, and it's taken me like 6 months to find this game. So I got that yesterday, and a couple weeks ago, I played Richard Garfield's new one, Treasure Hunter.
All right, yeah. Was that
Queen
that
Games?
that was kickstarted, right?
I believe it was, yeah. Queen Games kickstarts all their stuff anymore, which I can't really agree with, but I mean, they're a big enough company, they don't need to do that, but I guess it gives them a base for how many they're going to sell and what they'll put in the market. But
I guess like without delving too much into that, like the Kickstarter pre-order system seems to be the done thing nowadays, right? So
yeah. Good little game. I enjoyed it. It's I don't know if you've played it. It's just a drafting game, but you have modifier cards, which was really cool. And there's like whoever has the most gets stuff, whoever has the least gets stuff. But then they have this whole other track where you're fighting goblins or trolls, and that part of the game, I just felt it was added on and didn't need to be there. But that was just my opinion.
Yeah.
And then I think I'm getting Star Wars Lego for Christmas too, so I'm quite excited about that. How about yourself? What have you been playing?
To be honest, I've been struggling to get any sort of real gaming sessions in. So the only things I've really been playing recently, well, I had another shot with my wife at Codenames because she loves that game. I
love it.
You love it too? Everyone loves it apart from me, apparently. Maybe it's just I honestly, I think it's just the more I play it, the more I'm like, I reviewed it about 4 or 5 plays in, and then I wasn't too sure about it then, and the more I've played it, I think it's my brain. I don't think I click with matching all these words together. You know, like somebody will say something and I'll go, oh. They'll go, no, that's it. That was the assassin card. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, but see, there's nothing wrong with it. And that's the thing. Some people are like, oh, you don't like code names. What's wrong with you? All right, so you don't like code names. What do you do? Big deal.
Yeah, exactly. However, I did play we played it in sort of like a 3-player variant, which is not technically a 2-player variant, which is not technically how the game's supposed to be played. However, we did it with a dummy player, Highland Clans, which is another one.
Yeah.
That's Queen Games as well. So, and I quite enjoyed that. I like the idea of like pulling the colored cubes out of the bag and like deciding on what actions you're going to take, whether you're going to like build a castle or have cattle or, you know, like, because you don't get to decide what you're going to do until you pull those 6 cubes out of the bag. And I enjoy the fact that you can make a plan, but whether it goes ahead or not is entirely luck based. But they haven't involved any dice for a change, so it's nice to have that, you know, that different form of like luck, as opposed to everything seems to be dice rolls nowadays with luck, isn't it? So
it's about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, it seemed like every company was like, oh my goodness, we have to do a dice version of our game. So everything was just translated to dice.
Yeah,
but I love push your luck games. Some are better than others, but I love, like, do not take me to a casino because I will just throw my money at them.
It's like, just so, do you go to a lot of casinos or?
No. I went about a year and a half ago, and I won enough money to buy a coffee table for my living room. I said, okay, I'm done.
Yeah, just call it quits then, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's the main thing. As long as you know when to call it quits in a casino, you can, you know, you're safe to go back, right? So. There is what was the other one I played? We had a couple of No Thanks, the card game as well.
Okay.
So just that little card game, because there's quite a few of my game group hadn't played it. I had only played it a couple of times as well, so I'm kind of carrying that about with me just now. I had a bit of obsession with Red 7 for a while and carrying that about, but now
I got that in the summer, but something in my brain, I couldn't click with it. It was just like, what am I just not getting this? Or and I'm sure it's a great little game, but I put it on the shelf, and I went from 200 games to over 500 in a year. So I can never play the same game twice, because by the time I get it back around to it, it's like, wow, I haven't played that for 6.5 months. I got 4 games in the mail this week, and it's just like, now I got to learn these new ones. And I have a stack of like 60 games that I have to get done to reviewed. And yeah, it doesn't end, and that's fine. If there's any designers or, you know, publishers watching that want to get a Canadian perspective, look me up, Bearded Meeple, online, and shoot me your games because I'll look at them. Little selfless plug there, but
hashtag shameless plugging. Yeah, no, that's. Well, did you say you had a stack of like 60 games to review?
Well, I have probably about 150 in my personal collection, like from before, that I still want to get to. But yeah,
Right,
I've got
okay,
about 60 games that I've probably got in about the last 9 weeks, maybe. That, like I said, I get 3 or 4 in the mail a week saying, oh, and sometimes I don't even get contact from people. They just find my email on the internet and send me the address and like, here, check this out. And I'll post a picture on Twitter being like, hey, I got this game today. Who's it from? And then I'll get an email saying, oh, you got that. Could you do it for yeah, just send me an email first. It'd be great. But and yes, there are some really crappy games out there. I actually think I've only done a couple negative reviews so far, but again, I don't think it's my place to say, hey, this game sucks, and tell 20,000 people that, hey, you know what? This game doesn't make sense. You shouldn't buy it, when you watch the person's review and they didn't actually read the rules. And then I feel bad for the person that made the game, because they're like, you know what? That's someone's dream that they worked really hard on, and you're telling your audience that this game is awful when you didn't even read the rules. So I have a hard time with that.
I mean, there has been like a few nightmarish situations where a couple of the big reviewers have released very negative reviews. I can think of one off the top of my head for Viceroy, I believe, but let's not name any reviewers' names.
Yep.
But to be fair, they deleted their review as soon as they were sort of told about it, re-released the review, and actually fairly changed their mind about it as well. So, and they were very honest about the fact that, you know, like, and I believe actually they used the words, I'm ashamed of actually releasing that review, and I'm very, very sorry to the company. So you got to hand it to them for that. So, but yeah, you're right. There's always the chance of that. However, I guess with sharing a negative review is, there's generally so many reviews of so many games that I think if you've got like a little negative opinion or a little downside of it, it's sometimes worth sharing that too, and just seeing.
I agree with you there. I was going to comment on one thing you just said, but it went out of my brain because of what you just said about the negative thing. I did a review for a game from France called Sherlock. It's a simple matching game. A memory game. So you lay all the cards out. You're trying to find sets. Well, generally those games are for 5 and 6 year olds. This was inappropriate art for kids because it was Sherlock Holmes, and like the bad guys looked kind of bad, and one of the female characters was a bunny and she had a heaving chest, and that just didn't seem appropriate for kids. But then at the same time, you can only collect a set if you get 3 of a kind. I cheated at the game 4 times and I still lost, which showed it was just too hard for kids to even play. So I was like, this doesn't make sense. Like, it's like, only kids are going to play a memory. Like, an adult is not going to play a memory game, but it's going to be too hard for kids anyway. I was just like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
So I think that was like the only real negative. But there have been some times where I just say, hey, you know, check this game out. If you like this type, you might like that. And people have emailed me, well, you didn't say you liked it. And I'm like, oh, well, at least you watched the video, because I didn't say I liked it.
Like it. Yeah.
But I didn't say anything negative about it either. I just said, hey, if you like this type, check this out. Maybe it's for you. So, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, like, again, it's good to be able to do your own thing, and like, you know, like, what if you don't want to post negative reviews, then you don't have to post negative reviews, and that's the beauty of the channel that you run being your own. I have posted a couple of negative reviews, and I have a couple, like, I actually spoke about this. This is funny. I spoke about this on the Dock and Bay 94 podcast on, I think it was last weekend, actually the last Saturday. I spoke with Jason Jason Hancock and Jason Washburn on that. But
Yep.
we spoke about posting negative reviews, and I even said then I've got 2 or 3 sitting that aren't published. They're uploaded to YouTube, but I haven't published them, and that's because I don't really like the idea of sharing that many negative reviews. Like, one, because like you said, this is people's dreams, and this is like people put their heart and soul into these games.
Yep.
And for another one, I guess it kind of brings the mood down a little bit. Like, I like to share the kind of positive side of board gaming and not just being like, this is trash, don't play this. This is trash, get rid of this. It's not very, I don't know. It's just, but again, that's the beauty of having your own channel. And I guess when you're not as big, like when you're as big as some of the other guys, like you're saying, like the Dice Tower, like Rado's run throughs, things like that. When you're that big, I guess you have to do some negative reviews because people are throwing so many games at you and they're saying play them, and you're not going to like them all. But if they're desperate for you to review them, then go for it. I guess. But like you said, if you're not reviewing 1,000 games a week, I guess, then there's no real need to be completely negative about it.
Yeah. I agree with you there. I think it comes down to just having respect for other people, and like you said, like, hey, this person worked on this. Maybe it's not the best idea, or maybe their game experience isn't what I like. For instance, I can take a simple game, play it with my neighbor's mom, and she will love it. She will be like, oh my goodness, this is so good. And it would be like Nia, or like some small little game from Blue Orange Games that, it's just like a little 50-minute, but she thinks the world of it. Because if I take Battlestar Galactica over there, she's going to look at me like, what the heck is this?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's the thing. There's different games for different people. So if I say, yeah, this game's awful, well, why does Wendy's opinion not matter? Like, it does. So.
Yeah, and like when you say that game's awful, I guess it is only ever in your opinion. So
yeah.
There is always that too. So I guess I guess we've been playing quite a lot of games recently, and like we went off subject, I guess. Like that was supposed to be, I guess, what we've been playing recently, and then we went onto this like crazy subject on. But that was very interesting. However, I think we should move on to our little Kickstarter section that I like to do. I just wanted to give one shout out to a game that reminds me of one of my favorite movies of all time. Again, I spoke about this on the Dock and Bay 94 podcast, and that is Endure. Is it Endure the Stars, or do they just call it Endure? I believe it's Endure the Stars. It's just the way the box looks. It's surpassed its pledge. There's only a day left, 26 hours left, and it just really reminds me of Starship Troopers, like Starship Troopers the game. It looks like have you seen that movie?
Oh yeah, yep. I'm just looking it up on Kickstarter right now as we speak. It does look kind of good.
Yeah. So it reminds me of, I don't know if you remember the scene where they're all like in this base and the bugs are just like clambering the sides of the walls.
Oh yeah.
It totally reminds me of that scene, and I have like so much nostalgia with that scene when I was growing up, and I just like remember watching that film over and over again. And I
actually Casper Van Diem, I met him last year at a toy show. Actually, really nice guy.
No way.
Kickstarters, yes. I am actually just learning 2 games that will be going on Kickstarter shortly. Draconis Invasion, which is a deck builder, and then another cute little game called Conspiracy, which is all based on like weekly world news tabloids, like lizard man arising from the earth, and they're cloning Hitler and all sorts of crazy stuff. But it's a draw card, play a card, collect sets, but you don't want to collect too many because anything in the discard will take points away from you. So it seems really cool. And there was a Canadian game that's got about 6 or 7 days to go on Kickstarter called Brilliance, and it is in the vein of Takenoko. So people that like that game, they'll probably really like this one. I think the game is EU friendly. but you're a colony of ants, and certain ants will collect certain resources to fill objective cards, kind of like in Takenoko. And it's a huge game. Like, there's tons of stuff that come in it, and it's fairly inexpensive too.
It looks pretty interesting. I was just having a look at that just now. I think I actually might have seen a review of this. I'm not. I think maybe Nick from Board Game Brawl maybe did a review of it.
Yes, I believe Board Game Brawl and myself are the. There's a French review as well coming from Quebec. So
I'm just going down and have a look. Yeah, I see the so I see yours on Board Game Brawl. So yeah, I did see Board Game Brawl's review of that. Because I think he released it fairly recently, actually, like during the campaign.
yes.
So
Yes.
yeah, it looks really interesting. So this is a Canadian game as well, right?
Yes, Maxime Tardif
Okay.
from Quebec. So basically what happens in it is you have your personal player board, which is your ant hill, and then your ants are going out onto the main board. Only 2 of the 3 types, because the one ant will only work in the hill. And you're, like I said, collecting your different resources. They have big miniature, so to speak, of other, like a spider, a worm, and there was something else, a grasshopper that will go and you can use to get other people's ants and eat them and stuff. So it was a good game. Like, usually when you see Kickstarter stuff, big games like that are from big companies, and this is a small independent release, and just the amount of game that's in there, I was quite impressed with. And it has like 4 versions of play too, so you can play it with real young kids, or you can play with everything in it for advanced gamers and get the whole experience.
It certainly looks pretty awesome. I am not currently a backer of this, but to be honest, it looks like something I might have to get in. I might have to get in on.
I really hope they do all the little ant miniatures, because in the prototype game you just had little cardboard chits for them. But I mean, obviously, the more you have to make, the more expensive it's going to be. But yeah, in all honesty, I would love some big company to come in and say, hey, we want to like manufacture this game top notch for you. And I'm sure these guys can do it on their own, because again, it's their dream come to life. But to see, like, you know, Havoc come in and say, hey, yeah, we can like big box this, and like it would just be like you could throw tons of production money into it.
Yeah. I've just having a look just now. It looks like they've made it for the miniatures, so they are getting the miniatures, but they're looking to also, if they make 40,000, I presume that's Canadian dollars. Yeah, so if they make 40,000 Canadian dollars, they will add 15 more miniatures for a 6th player. So
nice.
I presume.
And you need a big table for this game. Like
I was just about to say, like, that is crazy amounts of pop outs, and
yeah,
it looks like you're going to be there forever popping that out. But sounds fun to me. I have like a weird obsession with popping out all the cardboard chits and stuff. I really enjoy it. So
my neighbor's mom. Every time I get a game, she wants to pop it. Oh yeah, because the kids can like draw the little shapes and make things, and I'm just like, all right, I'll keep them.
Oh, she wants the. Oh, okay. She wants the like the. I don't want to think about like the recyclables afterwards.
Yeah. She gets me to save those for, and I'm like, okay, I'll do it. I'll do it.
It's for the kids, right? So.
Yep. I'm just trying to think of any other Kickstarters that have come about. But while we're on the topic of Kickstarters, I've had a couple videos attached to Kickstarters, such as Brilliance, Kodama by Action Phase Games. I did a video for that one as well. But sometimes you'll do a video and the Kickstarter will go up and they don't attach it to it. And I don't know. I don't understand. Maybe they don't know how to go into the campaign and do that, or maybe they didn't like the video. I mean, obviously my work has a format, so it'd just be nice to be like, oh yeah, sorry, thanks for doing the video, but we're not going to put it in the campaign. It's just a common courtesy, I would think, because you're there trying to help and I don't charge for anything either. So I'm doing all this work. They sell, $35,000 worth of product, and all I get is oh yeah, we didn't put that on our campaign. It's like, what? So eventually I will charge, but I don't want to yet because I need to build the audience and
definitely
and get there.
I think it's a case as well, like if they're not going to use your video, then or like if they didn't like the format of your videos in the first place, why would they send you a copy?
Yeah. Yep. I agree with that totally.
It just seems, that's droll, as we would say over here. But
the other thing that I find strange too is I'll do print and play videos, but I had one guy send me a game. He's like, "Oh yeah, it's a print and play and da da da." I had like 600 cards. So now I gotta spend the money to print out all these copies. I've got to cut it out, like, and you want the video in 2 days? It's like, what? Like, do you realize what you're asking me?
I have kind of stayed away from doing the print and play stuff just because I don't know. I kind of got the feeling like I've played a few print and play games, and there's obviously what was that really famous one that was going about on Board Game Geek? It's gone out of my head completely. But I've played that one, and there's a couple others that I played, and I don't know. I'm a bit of a sucker for theme, and even if it's like an abstract game, sorry, I'm a bit of a sucker for component quality, and so when it's just not my thing. I struggle to get into it and have any enjoyment out of it, so I just stay away from doing any sort of review from print and plays. Have you reviewed a lot of print and plays then, or just
probably like 5 or 6, and the only reason I've done them so far is I knew a couple of the people, so I was like, yeah, I'm more than happy to help you out. Or it's just someone that no one else is helping them, so I'll say, yeah, you know what, I can do this because I'm in the exact same boat as you. And that kind of leads me into the whole thing with, like, I just did my 206th video and I'm not even 11 months in. The reason I do some print and play sometimes, or, like I had one guy, I didn't even have the game. He only had like 2 prototypes. All he did was send me pictures. So I did a review of the game and just did like photos of it and then talked about the game experience, which was unique because I had never really done that before. But you need the library, because if I'd been doing this for 11 months and had 2 videos a month come out, so like one every other week, I'd have 22, 23 videos out there. Well, who the heck's Bearded Meeple? People aren't going to know me or understand what I do, but I pumped 200 out there. And now they can go through YouTube and, oh yeah, we did this game. Oh, I'll check that one out. So now, even if I slow down and do 2 a week, I still have stuff there for people to watch. Because if I only had 22, who the heck's he? Yeah, whatever. Who cares what he has? Talk to me in 2 years when you got some content there. So that's the reason why I pumped out so many too.
Yeah, I mean, it is phenomenal how much videos that you have on your channel, considering what are you like? How much videos do you have now already?
I believe it's like 206 or 207. Oh, excuse me.
That's insane.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. On my 10-month anniversary, I hit 200 videos, 500 subscribers, and 40,000 views. Nice. And that was just in 10 months. So it took a lot of work. I wouldn't say a lot, but there's a fair number of industry people that know me or know people I'm associated with and be like, oh yeah, I've heard of that guy, or okay, I've seen a few of his things. And that's great because they send me games too, but there's like 800,000 people out there that I need the public to know who I am so my numbers can rise. And because certain companies will only deal with the top guys, and that's fine because they'll be like, oh, well, talk to me when you have 100,000 views. All right, well, I'll get there eventually. And you know what? Then you will be emailing me and saying, oh, Bearded Meeple, we love your stuff. And I'll be like, yeah, you don't know who I am. You're just saying that because you want me to sell your product. So now it's going to cost you. So we'll see.
I kind of like your mentality around that. It's a bit of a fresh outlook, I guess, compared to the usual. Most people would still be like, "Oh, what? Simon want me to review every one of their Kickstarter projects before everyone else gets them." Yeah, no problem. That sounds great. But yeah, I kind of like your idea of being like, "Well, you didn't want to speak to me when I was small, so that'll be $100, or that."
Well, and that's the thing too. The Canadian dollar is doing so bad. It's like 75 US. I could say, yeah, because I know guys charge 150, 200, 250. I could do something for 100 Canadian, and really that's costing them 75 US for me to do a video for the game. That's really not that much. So if I can do 15 videos in a month that are paid, well, there's $1,500 that I've subsidized my income from. So maybe I can quit one of my 3 jobs that I have and just do one of them, and then do the board game thing, and I would be okay with that. What I would really like to do is do a Kickstarter for myself, because I know like Rahdo's the big guy, and Watch It Played's huge, and you know they can raise 40 or 60 grand. Like I said, if I can raise 30 grand, that's, you know, $10 from 3,000 people. That's really not that much to ask for. Or even get a sponsor for the show and say, hey, you know what, $400 a month. I talk about you on every video, you know, direct them to your channel or whatever. Okay, so there's $400 a month of subsidized my income. There's little ways that you can get money, so then I can do this full time.
Yeah, I mean, like, excuse me. It's like, so I mean, I got a sponsor on the channel like only a month and a bit ago, and it's just a really like small sponsorship at the moment, where he gets mentioned basically, or the website gets mentioned basically at the end of every video. However, he wants to help me like improve my channel and give me like equipment, or help get me equipment to use. So like he got me a microphone was like the first thing, you know, like obviously sharing all these dark business deal secrets, but like, you know, he was like, oh, I think you need a microphone for your channel, so how about that for the first sort of sponsorship deal? And I'm like, yep, that sounds great, so let's do that for a couple of videos. Or yeah, and you know, it's nice that most of the community out there, even if you are a smaller, like a small time kind of reviewer, vlogger, whatever, most people still want to like give you a helping hand. And the community is like so friendly.
That is very true.
I've never experienced anything like it. You know, like in my whole youth, anything like it.
Is your show PG-13 or what? I don't want to use any inappropriate language or anything. But,
yeah, so it's kid friendly, should we say?
Alrighty. There are only a handful of people that are real jerks, but 98% of the board game industry, they're actually real nice people. There's only 1 or 2 that are like, oh my goodness, they're such a tool and just frustrating. But yeah, for the most part.
And obviously you're going to share those names after we stop recording, so that I can.
But yeah, for the most part, very eager to help and share information. And yeah, they're just it's a very small knit community too, because all the designers pretty much know each other, and either they used to be people that worked for the companies, or they're the people that own the companies. So you get to know them, and next thing you know, it's all this intermeshing, and it's like, wow, okay, so out of all these people in the world, yeah, you know, there actually may only be like 500 people that are in this bubble trying to reach this mass market of millions. So
yeah, I totally see what you mean, because particularly I think when you watch all the con videos that people upload, and it's always like, even though you'll see thousands of people wandering about in the background, it's always the same 500 or so. Like, you're right, maybe like 500 to 1,000 people's faces that you see getting involved in all the social media stuff, getting like really deeply involved in all the media and all the hype about the games. And it's yeah, it's really interesting. But like you said, 98% all those people are the friendliest people that you'll ever meet in your entire life. So I don't know. I kind of feel lucky that we're part of this community, to be honest.
Oh yeah, I had no idea what to expect. I just wanted to tell some people about some board games. I thought, hey, I got some free time, I can do it. But now
I feel that.
It's just exploded. It's like, holy man! Like I had a couple weeks ago, a guy I know from the States who teaches in Taiwan, Odd Hack Welder, game designer, runs Hacko Games. He talked to a guy who knew this guy, and then I got these 2 games from Taiwan. And it's like,
yeah, I recognize that one on the my left. Anyway, you're right. So
that one.
Yeah, I recognize that one. Yeah.
So that's their version of One Night Werewolf, and it was actually a really good spin. So I'm about halfway done the video on that one, and I'm just learning this one. This is Chidango. It's about people eating a snack, a little card game. But yeah, it's just like, oh, this person sent me an email saying, oh, I talked to so and so, and I saw your videos, and I really like what you do. And it's just like, wow, I appreciate it. Thanks. What can I do for you? Like, send me your games. I'll tell people about them. Because a year down the road, they're going to say, holy heck, that Tyler, he was a really nice guy, and he helped promote our stuff. And yeah, you know what? I'll send him my games and do this or that for him. And it's like, I pat your back, you scratch mine, or whatever, or cuddle. I don't know.
Like giant bear hug. So yeah,
exactly.
Oh well. To be honest, I think we'll probably cut it out right there, Tyler. I think we've nearly hit around about an hour's time
Sure.
of a chat there. I'd just like to thank you again for coming on. Again, just being only being out there for a year, being such a heavy influence in the sort of YouTube community, and I hope to see you keep releasing as much reviews as you're doing, and I hope to see you on Meeple Syrup as much as possible as well, because I really like to see you on there, and I think you contribute quite a lot to that show as well.
Thank you very much. So. I appreciate being here, and be happy to come back and have a chat anytime. And I subscribe to your stuff, so I look forward to seeing more content for you, because we need the little guys to unite and just raise each other up, and we're all on the same team. And that's the thing people have to realize, because there are a few people like, oh no, I'm promoting my own stuff. Well, you know what? We're all on the same team.
Yeah, man. I believe there was a little cheesy phrase from a show, Firefly, that you could say right now. But yeah, I'm not gonna save that for a later show at some point, I think, because that's too
I have to apologize. I have tried to watch Firefly 3 times. I can never get past the first episode. I don't know what it is. It's my red 7. I just can't get it.
Well, I think I will definitely have to leave it here before me and Tyler come to mass fallouts over Firefly. Tyler, do you have anything you just want to quickly plug before you go? You've got a Twitter, you've got a YouTube.
Yep. People simply go to beardedmeeple.com. They can send me email that way, or Bearded Meeple on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. As I said, designers, publishers, I'm more than happy to take a look at your stuff and help you promote your games. Or if there's other video reviewers watching and say, hey, I wouldn't mind chatting up Bearded Meeple. I am usually home, sleeping, or working. So catch me on one of those 3.
Awesome. And as usual, my name is Georgie from Beards and Board Games. This episode has been sponsored by GamesLore, the UK's largest specialist games retailer, which can be found at gameslore.com. Tyler, thanks again for coming on, and everyone else, catch you guys later.